I am so alone.
Omar!
What?
Omar! It's been 2 years since we did a cartoon intros video.
What does that mean? Like, are we out of ideas
Statute of
already?
limitations is run. We can do another one.
Yes! Stay tuned! A couple of years ago, we decided to talk about what our favorite cartoon openings were.
Was that really a couple of years ago?
It was a couple of years ago.
I think so.
And you can find that episode here.
Or here.
Somewhere.
Now, a lot of things have changed in 2 years. So, we're going to talk about more of our favorite cartoon intros from when we were
Because
kids.
there's a lot of them.
So why don't you guys start it off?
All right, I'll go with something a little bit older that was maybe hit or miss for some people, which is Count Duckula.
Home for many centuries to a dreadful dynasty of vicious vampire ducks, the Counts of Duckula.
I don't know that I remember Count
You don't even...
Duckula.
So did you watch... Well, I mean, what channel was it on?
Nickelodeon in America.
Was it okay.
Okay,
So
no.
it was early morning, and it was like a vampire duck. Count Duckula. Really? No, he was summoned...
He was vegetarian.
He was a vegetarian, so he...
I remember that part of it.
Okay.
It had an awesome theme music, though, which we just showed. That ties into mine because Count Duckula started off as a villain in this cartoon that I'm about to talk about, and that is Danger Mouse.
Danger Mouse.
So, yeah, Count Duckula was a villain in Danger Mouse one episode, and eventually, like, the people that got together, they were like, no, let's make him have his own show, and he's no longer a villain, and now he's vegetarian.
He's fantastic.
Danger Mouse was a British cartoon.
That's why they were all British sounding, because I always
And
wondered about
yes,
that.
because they were from England. Of course, that's why
That's
they're
why they
British
said the
sounding.
House of Commons. Okay,
Yeah,
I get
so
it.
he was like a super spy, right? He was like a James Bond kind of character.
Yeah.
With his
and he had
mole
like
companion?
little
What was,
mole
what was,
companion.
what was the mole's name?
The Bermuda Triangle. That's a musical instrument, isn't it? The Bermuda Triangle, Penfold.
Penfold. That was the guy's name.
Oh, that's right. Because he used to say, Penfold. Shush. Remember he used to say that?
Yeah, and then like Stiletto was the bad guy, but yeah, I remember Penfold. I just now
Shush.
remembered. What are you gonna go with?
Future Family,
Yes.
Bionic 6.
We are a family.
Y'all remember that?
Oh, Bionic
I
6.
never watched it.
Kind of rockin' theme song
Had an awesome theme song.
with incredible animation.
Yeah.
And I remember a lot of going around when that was on, like, doing this motion and like activating my powers because I was a
Wait,
kid.
was this like your version of Power Rangers?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, each family member, and
They had bionic powers.
some of them were adopted. Because there was a black
Well,
kid
they were
and
family
Wait, was there a
together
furry
by
among
fate.
them?
an Asian girl, and you're like, oh, I see what they did. That's very futuristic.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, but I remember the thing I remember of that was the toys. The action figures were about the size of G.I. Joes, and they were kind of lame, like their body parts
They
lit up.
look like bats
Lame.
from G.I. Joe.
Yes.
Okay. So moving right along.
Yeah.
What really had a dope kickin' 80s theme was the show Pole Position.
From now on, like your parents were, you are the secret force of pole position.
Y'all remember Pole Position? Based on
No,
the
it sounds
Atari.
like a stripper.
Just walked right into that, or drove into it, I guess.
I'm
I'd say.
sorry, this is kids.
No, I agree with Rob.
Yeah.
Pole position kicked it, man.
Dude,
Like,
it was
the
it
show
about,
was
like-
so ridiculous.
Yeah, the show had made very little sense. They took quite a few liberties with the Atari game just driving, but it was like a brother and sister, and there was a talking computer, and they were driving around solving stuff and fighting crime or doing whatever kids do.
Had that nice little beat in there.
Oh, dude, it was a great.
No, man, that was
a
awesome.
great freaking song. They did not deserve to be.
I think it lasted maybe.
License.
It might have lasted maybe like half a season.
Yeah,
That's how well it
Okay,
did.
Yeah, I think
this
it
is
was like
probably
six,
why
yeah, it was
I
like six
never-
episodes.
never saw it.
But great intro. Your turn.
Go ahead.
Oh, my turn?
Yeah, your
okay,
turn.
I'm gonna go with Hey Arnold. So I'm gonna jump ahead into the 90s.
Hey,
Hey,
I'm gonna be honest.
Arnold.
I have never heard of this
You
intro.
never watched
I know what it is. He's got a big football head, right?
Yeah, he's a football head. So there
No,
was
let's
like
do
a
it.
Helga who was like stalking him, and it was sort of like a weird love triangle, but sort of set in an inner city. So you had Hey Arnold, his best friend, and like just a group of like mangy kids. It's like the 90s, more progressive version of Little Rascals.
Okay.
So it's sort of like the hijinks that these kids get into, neighborhood real life problems, and then just, cartoons.
Okay. Yeah, I absolutely remember the show, but I never watched it.
Really? It was probably a little bit, because I'm 4 years younger than you guys. It was probably just outside of your block range.
Yeah.
I should have thrown this in the first batch, but it didn't make it, so I'm going to talk about M.A.S.K.
M.A.S.K.
M.A.S.K. had the coolest intro.
That was pretty rocking.
Like, just the music and the way it's animated, like when they get shot, there's this anime-like lightning bolts that were never in the actual show. Because they could never afford that.
I'm getting really big G.I. Joe feels from this.
No.
So, no, they're nothing like G.I. Joe. These guys put on masks to, hide their secret identity.
Cars transformed
into
different other cars.
Into other cars. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Like, a motorcycle turns into a helicopter. A submarine turns into a bigger submarine.
No!
It's great.
No, don't disrespect this.
It's not a mecha.
57 Chevy turns into a tank.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, it was brilliant.
Hold on, let me tell you a story about this. I have to tell my story about M.A.S.K. When I was the age that this came out, for Christmas, I wanted Switchblade, which is this guy's vehicle.
Yep.
Switchblade, for the uninitiated Tina, was a helicopter that turned into a plane. Switchblade, get it right? So I'm like, I don't know, 6.
Did they give you a switchblade?
I'm young, and I go sit on Santa Claus's lap, and I'm like, hey, Santa, I want a Switchblade. And Santa goes, well, little boy, I don't think little boys need switchblades. And I remember thinking, like, I was, 6, 8 or something? I was like, you racist woman. I do not want a switchblade. I want the toy. You're supposed to know about these things. You're Santa Claus. And I was like, no, Santa, the toy, not the blade. But I remember the fact that this still sticks with me.
Along the same lines of stories that stick with you, it was my 6th, 7th birthday. And for the week up until my birthday, my sister, who is a year and change younger than me, would just run around the house saying, Dan, Thunderhawk is for me. I mean, spoilers. Okay.
Wow.
All right. So, by the power of Grayskull, my next pick is Thundercats.
You're so stupid.
Thanks for the reference to last time.
Yeah, because let's be honest, Thundercats is bar none the greatest cartoon intro of all time.
Yeah, it's Silverhawks on Earth.
I mean, it's the first introduction to anime. Like holy shit, they can do that with cartoons. In the sense of this is amazing.
Like an actual story, like it's actually an epic rather than.
Well, I mean, not talking about the show. I'm just talking about the
animation.
The
Animation in the
the
beginning.
animation of the
was
intro.
amazing.
Is incredible.
It was great.
Yep.
The show itself,
It wasn't awful, but
still to He-Man.
I don't really liked it.
no, I love the series Thundercats, but the intro and the music. Thundercats are loose. I still remember this. That's such a good song.
So, what is your thought, or what is your take on the Thundercats Go, Dan?
I'm gonna wait till I see
it's called Thundercats Roar.
Oh,
Thundercats,
Thundercats.
because that's a much better name.
Thundercats Roar. What's your take on that?
I'm probably fine with it.
Really?
I don't know how I feel
The
about
fact that they're coming out with a new thing that's completely different doesn't invalidate the old thing that I like.
No. And
Okay, Michael Bay.
Also, I love Transformers Animated, and frankly, I love Teen Titans Go.
My second choice is Visionaries. Knights of the Magical Light.
They were cool toys.
You remember that?
Yeah,
So,
I remember the toys. I don't really remember the show.
So there was a very short-lived.
You had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning on a Saturday to catch that shit.
But the thing, the animation and the music, it was like a big, mean, burlesque choir of dudes going Visionaries, Knights of the Magic, and this animation that went with it, all their characters coming out.
It was pretty dope. I agree with Rob. It was dope.
So the toys were a little, whatever, G.I. Joe-esque size thing.
They were a little taller.
Yeah, they were taller. And they had like holograms on their chests. And each hologram in the show, they turned into whatever it was.
Magic.
Yeah, and it was a great freaking show. Great.
Interesting.
There was a 6-issue comic run of it.
Was this one of the cartoons that was made to sell the toys?
Oh, 99% of them were
all
all.
of the cartoons.
Yeah. And this
With
was
the
like,
exception
to
of
sell toys.
Hey Arnold, so far on this list have been
Well, that was
sell
a
toys.
Nickelodeon.
yeah, so like this was in the same age as like Silverhawks and Brave Star and
Yeah.
those that type of era of these shows. It was really good. I enjoyed it. So, what about you?
What's your last
Number
one,
3.
Tina?
Best for last. Invader Zim. So it's another later one. Did you guys watch it?
I don't know what
Okay,
you're talking
it's
about.
awesome. No, it's done by an artist. What's his name? Jonan Vasquez. He primarily did comics.
Okay.
So he did like I Feel Sick. He did Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, which my brother read extensively and I really, really love. And then he did Invader Zim, which it's one of the shows, unfortunately, that got cut too short because he's an alien invading Earth, basically trying to take over, and then 9/11 happened.
Oh
No.
bad time.
I was like, is she going? Oh, okay, she did.
Yep. No. I mean, it's
Yeah,
one of
I
those
mean-
things. It's like it was.
It lasted
potentially
4 seasons,
scary.
though.
It lasted 4 seasons, and it would have gone further. But
Yeah.
I think they viewed it. They were trying to minimize the effect of what a destructive show or what they thought was destructive on kids at the time. So it was unfortunate.
I remember the show. I
It's come back
don't
as a comic
remember
now.
the intro at all, though. I like Gurr, the little robot that dresses up as a dog.
Yeah.
So, for my last pick, you speak of songs that you jog to, and this song I jog to, and I also listen to this because I'm not a big fan of Planes When You Take Off, so I have to listen. This is my OCD thing that I always listen to, and that is the theme to Robotech. And the intro to Robotech is so amazing.
Robotech.
No, there are no
it was
words.
gonna be Eye of
What are
the
you doing? Are
Tiger.
you remixing Robotech? Get out. You can't remix that.
This is Rick Hunter.
And it's funny that I said remixing because that's exactly what they did with
Remix.
Super Dimensional Fortress Macross. Because that's what it was called in Japan. Originally. But yeah, Robotech. Oh, love it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Dan.
Fantastic.
All right, so I had one, but I'm not going to go with it. I'm going to go with because I got reminiscence about the toys that had cartoons made to sell them. So the one that I'm going to pick for my third is Max Steel's Robo Force. Do y'all remember this?
No.
Okay, Robo Force
Not
was
Rescue
a series.
Rangers?
No. Don't get me started. RoboForce was
RoboForce.
robots that were like turned
force?
over solo cups with suction cups on the bottom, and then they had like dome heads, and they had.
Oh, I
and
remember
they
the toys. They had a
like,
cartoon.
crinkly, yeah.
It was like
They had
what's it
crinkly
called?
Arms.
Yeah, I remember the toys.
The cartoon and the intro was great. It was not it was one of these very short-lived. I don't think they had a full series.
Made
It might
for
have been
video.
I'm trying to
It
even
might have been
imagine
the
these
equivalent of an
toys,
OVA.
and
I
I'm
remember
like,
the toys because I had two of them. My brother had one and I had like one of them. But yeah, I remember
Yeah.
the arms.
You had two. My brother
but like
had
I had
one.
a ton of those things.
Two for me.
And
Two for
like
me.
the intro was great. It was fun, and it's thinking about the classic cartoon intros designed just to sell the toys, and that
Jesus.
I long for a simpler
Robot
time.
Force. That's
Robo
obscure.
Force.
That's like fucking Dino Saucers from last time.
Dinosaurs.
All right, go ahead. I said Tiger Sharks, by the way. None of you knew what the hell that was. And I was like, Thundercats underwater. All right, what?
That is why we have the show, to come up with obscure things like that. So I want to go with something that was a video game first, and then it turned into a...
You already said pole position, dude.
Right. So the video game that I'm
Still
talking about
stripper.
is
Super Mario Brothers.
close. It's a Konami game. 4 people play at the same time, and it was called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You're so
Now, if you've never played this game, like there's like 4 turtles, and then like at the end you have to fight like the Krang is a brain, a little dude, and then like Shredder. You can split into like 12 people. The more people play, it was such a hit of a game. They went out, and made like this comic book by Eastman and Laird or something.
What is wrong with you?
So, and then after the comic,
You were pissing off so many comic book fans.
No, it was a cartoon. It was a cartoon that came out next, and they're like, wow, these two Eastman and Laird guys, like, we should make a comic about this cartoon.
But we should make it serious and
We should
gritty.
make it really serious and gritty. They had this amazing like live action like flappy lip like rubber suit movie too. It's fantastic. Okay,
and kids, this is a lesson in why you don't listen to people on YouTube.
Okay, all that to side.
I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja
opening
Turtles
theme.
cartoon.
Opening thing. The reason I'm bringing up the video game part is the opening thing is one of the first games where they copied it directly to the game.
Yeah.
And like it was just like it just made that game even better. It's like because you get pumped and ready for it. And just the cartoon itself, to this day, it still thumps. And my brother and I would argue at the end if Michelangelo is a party dude. What he says, if he says party, boogie, or goes, we still don't.
He says
Party. I thought it was party,
Yeah.
but my brother's like, no, it's boogie. And then like some other kid was like, no, it's
That show did so damn well that they were like, okay, no more Transformers. Like they canceled every other line or every other cartoon that was out at the time to focus solely on this show. And you know they made it a Monday through Friday show. It was amazing how they just took over like that.
like that. And like
Yeah.
technically, TMNT was just at the end of me watching cartoons. This was more with my brother watching these things. But
That's
it was so
87
good.
though.
So it was
You
so
were still
good.
young in
Yeah,
87.
it was so amazing.
was so good.
I remember, like
But
in our art
the toys
class.
didn't come out till a little
Yeah,
bit
toys
later.
came out later.
'Cause
That's
I
what
got,
I mean,
I
like
got
the
my
toys.
first Raphael for my 10th birthday, and I was a little too old for it.
No,
What?
Yeah.
Dan, I have a Raphael toy back there.
You have problems. You have a hoarding problem. This is coming from someone who has a hoarding problem. So yeah, TMNT, Teenage Mutant Turtles. Sorry, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
that's a nice closeout.
Let's do this again in a couple years.
Okay.
All right.
So those are some of our favorite cartoon intros. Again, from really obscure stuff like RoboForce, which after Dan showed it to me, he's like, oh yeah. Or things that are awesome, like Visionaries with the holograms in... I forgot Jim and the holograms again! Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much. Jim.
It's been
Want to take Omar?
It's been 2 years since
I thought you were gonna touch me. You don't want to touch me?
Omar! It's been 2 years since we did a cartoon intros video.
Okay, that's great. Dan, shit! I forgot my line. You shocked my line out of me.